Lo Shinshi, 18 years old, was about to face what many dreaded, the college entrance exam. But to him, it was nothing more than an event for bookworms to flaunt their knowledge. His mother had long given up on him. She had a special job and left him alone in his apartment, where his hikikomori lifestyle had taken root. But technically, he wasn't entirely alone. "Honey, I'm home," he would say as he entered, though there was no one in the apartment but his imaginary girlfriends. He talked to them as if they were there, filling the empty space with his banter. It was a routine day. After a quick trip to the crowded supermarket, he returned home with some new snacks. "Sorry to keep you waiting, my cuties," he muttered to himself. Despite having his wives, as he called them, he still felt lonely. He was an otaku with no real social skills to speak of, often blaming his mom for his strange name, which was made up of different metals from the periodic table. Just then, the doorbell rang. "Excuse me, is this Mr. Luo?" It was a delivery from Headwind Express. Shinshi signed for the package and opened it to find the new phone he'd ordered. Excited, he began transferring his data and decided to take a nap while waiting. "Lo Shinshi, Lo Shinshi," a voice echoed in his sleep. He stirred, annoyed. "So noisy. Who's disturbing my nap?" he grumbled, opening his eyes to find himself in a dark space. "Do you long for superpowers?" the voice asked. Confused, Shinshi replied sarcastically, "Superpowers? I graduated from kindergarten years ago. Are you joking?" Suddenly, he felt something soft and unfamiliar in his hand. He jumped up, only to see a girl standing before him. "Who are you? How did you get into my house?" The girl looked hurt. "Master, how could you not recognize me? You've used me for so long." Shinshi was bewildered. "Master? Is this some kind of role-playing thing? Look, I'm flattered, but I don't have the money or time for this. You should find someone else." But the girl seemed even more upset. "Master, you got a new phone yesterday, and now you're abandoning me?" It hit him like a bolt of lightning. This girl, could she be his old phone? No way. He quickly searched for his phone, but it was gone. The girl smirked. "Master, do you want to answer the call or hang up?" Completely baffled, Shinshi demanded, "Answer the call, and give me back my phone." He was about to lose his mind. How could his phone transform into a girl? Was this some twisted dream or a bizarre reality he was now trapped in? He gasped. Whatever was happening, he had no idea how to deal with it. Lo Shinshi's mind raced. "Wait, what the hell is this situation?" The girl in front of him leaned in, closer and closer, until suddenly her lips met his in an unexpected kiss. "Lady, have some self-restraint. For crying out loud," he thought, his face burning with embarrassment. "I'm sorry," he muttered, though he had no idea why he was apologizing. She was the one who initiated it. Yet, despite the chaos, he couldn't ignore the fact that was his first kiss. Shinshi was once inspired to become a magician. He'd heard a rumor that if someone remained a virgin until they were 25, they would unlock magical powers. But now, that dream was shattered, just like that. Yet, it didn't feel like a loss. In fact, it felt like a blessing in a strange way. "Son, are you listening?" His mother's voice echoed in his head, snapping him back to reality. "Son, if you're listening, say something." "Wait, Mom," he gasped. How could his mom's voice be coming out of this girl's mouth? Everything about her, her posture, her tone, it was like looking at a clone of his mother. "You stayed up all night playing games again, didn't you?" The girl, no, his phone-turned girl, continued in his mother's voice. "And no, I was studying." Shinshi stammered, trying to keep it together. His mind was racing. How is this even happening? "Ungrateful brat," she continued, scolding him as only his mom could. Her voice was filled with the same sternness that sent shivers down his spine. She had a favor to ask. He needed to go next door and check if their neighbor's house was still for rent. She and his dad needed a new place, and it was easier for Shinshi to ask in person. "Okay, Mom, consider it done," he answered as she abruptly ended the call. The room fell silent. Shinshi blinked. "Master, the call has ended," the girl, his phone, said softly, breaking the silence. The realization hit him full force. The girl standing in front of him, the one who kissed him, was actually his phone, transformed into human form. And if that was true, did that mean everything else wasn't just a dream? I need to figure this out, Shinshir muttered under his breath. What is my ability? His phone had turned into a girl, and he wondered aloud, does this mean everything I touch could turn into a girl? Excited by the possibility, he reached out to touch the nearest object, hoping to trigger whatever strange power he had. But nothing happened. Master, why do you look so confused? The girl asked, noticing his bewilderment. Testing his theory, Shinshir asked, if you really are my phone, tell me what's inside the files. Without hesitation, she responded, there are pictures of girls in revealing clothing. The file name is Homework with subfiles. Shinshir's face turned bright red. She wasn't lying. She really was his phone. His heart pounded as he realized the implications. But, Master, she asked innocently, why do you name those files Homework? What are you trying to learn from them? Oh no, Shinshir thought, his mind scrambling. It's because I'm studying fashion. He blurted out. Yeah, I'm learning about girls' clothing styles. Phew, that was close. Oh, I see. Master wants to learn about fashion, she said, her expression softening. Shinshir sighed in relief. Crisis averted for now, but there was still something he didn't know. What's your name? He asked. If you don't have one, I can give you one. Master, I don't have a name. You can give me one if you wish. Shinshir thought for a moment. Her straight black hair reminded him of an anime character, so he decided. All right, from now on, I'll call you Nikki. Do you like it? Nikki? She repeated, smiling. I love it. Thank you, Master. Shinshir felt an unexpected warmth in his chest. Why am I so happy? He wondered. But before he could dwell on the feeling, the sound of keys jingling in the door startled him. Someone's coming. It couldn't be his dad. His father rarely visited without notice. That meant it was, Mom. Quick, Nikki. You need to hide. Don't make a sound, understand? Shinshir whispered urgently. Master, should I activate standby mode? She asked. Yes. Standby mode now. Just as Nikki went silent, the door clicked open. Shinshir's heart pounded in his chest. He wasn't ready to explain any of this, especially to his mom. Mom, why are you here? He asked, trying to keep calm as his mother stepped inside. Why are you so flustered? His mother asked, stepping into the room with a curious gaze. Shinshir's heart pounded in his chest. He fumbled for an excuse. I just woke up and was, getting dressed, he stammered, trying to keep his cool. You just called me Mom? Why did you suddenly show up here? He asked, attempting to divert the conversation. His mother gave him a sharp look. Why can't I come? Do I spoil your fun? Shinshir's mind raced. No way. I'm not doing anything bad. He replied nervously, but his eyes darted toward the closet where Nikki was hiding. Then his mother sniffed the air. I smell a girl's fragrance in your room. Something fragrant. Shinshir's heart skipped a beat. Maybe it's my new laundry detergent, he offered, his voice trembling. His mom's senses were terrifyingly sharp. Too sharp. His eyes widened in horror. Wait, isn't that Nikki's shoe? When had it fallen out? How had he not noticed? Panic surged through him. I need to hide it. Quick. But before he could act, his mother noticed. Why are you sitting there so suddenly? She asked, eyeing him suspiciously. Shinshir laughed nervously. Oh, nothing. The air feels nice here. Ah. He tried to act casual, but the tension was thick. His mother narrowed her eyes. You're being weird. This kid must be hiding something, she muttered to herself. She stepped closer to the closet, clearly determined to expose whatever secret her son was hiding. Shinshir froze. His mind screamed, watch out. His heart nearly stopped. His beloved waifu, Nikki, was hidden right there, and his mom was seconds away from discovering her. The tension grew unbearable. His mom's instincts were too sharp, too on point. Tell me, what are these shoes? She asked, holding up Nikki's lost shoe. Shinshir stammered, his brain scrambling for an excuse. I think the answer is, in here? His mother's eyes gleamed with suspicion. Let's see what you're hiding here, she said, moving to open the closet. Shinshir panicked. Don't, he shouted, his voice desperate. His mother paused and gave him a disappointed look. Son, a man should behave like a man, she said with a sigh. Surrender yourself. Mom will visit you often after I get my bonus pay. Shinshir's heart sank. Mom really misunderstood everything. Mom, it's not what you think. This is a misunderstanding, he pleaded. His mother, unimpressed, shook her head. Don't lie to me, son. I'm your mother. How can I not know? You've never had any luck with girls, and now, suddenly a cute girl appears in your room? If it's not an abduction, then what is it? Shinshir's panic intensified. Mom, you really misunderstood this. He tried again, but his mother's conviction was unshaken. A man must boldly admit his mistakes, she lectured. Suddenly, a soft voice came from the closet. Master didn't kidnap me. Big sis, please don't scold him. His mother's eyes widened in shock. And Master? She stammered. You're even playing master and servant now? SM play. I can't believe this. She rubbed her temples, clearly overwhelmed. Looks like I'll have to send you to an asylum to fix your behavior. Shinshir's jaw dropped. The asylum? Mom, no. It's not like that. I swear. His mind raced. If they find out Nikki is my phone, who knows what kind of experiments they'll run on me? There was no choice. He had to think fast. She's my girlfriend. His mother blinked. Really? Really, really? Shinshir insisted, his voice steadying as he clung to the lie. She just hides in the closet because I was afraid you'd overreact. His mother's stern expression softened just a little. If that's the case, little sister, my son didn't bully you, right? Nikki emerged from the closet, smiling sweetly. No, Master is really kind to me. Finally, Shinshir thought with relief. I tricked her. His mother's face softened further. Good, good. Come visit often. Annie will make something delicious for you. Yes, I will, Nikki said politely. Now, about the neighbor, go ask them if the house is still up for rent, his mother reminded him. And I didn't see you for a while, but you actually got a girlfriend. A very cute one at that. It seems like you've changed. She handed him something as she left. Don't be irresponsible, she called back. Shinshir stared at the door after she left. Stupid mom, he muttered under his breath, half in frustration and half in disbelief at how close he'd come to disaster. Master, Nikki's soft voice called from behind him. Please be gentle. Shinshir stared at the item his mom had left behind, his mind in disbelief. What was Mom thinking? He grimaced at the audacity of it all. She actually gave her son something like this? He quickly shoved it aside, shaking his head. Nikki, you can't eat that, he blurted out when he saw her eyeing the item. Nikki looked up, tilting her head innocently. Master, what is this? It looks like chocolate. It's not chocolate, Shinshir exclaimed, quickly grabbing the package. Nikki, you don't need to know what this is. It's not something good, he sighed, hoping she would drop the topic. Oh, Nikki said, still curious but obedient. His stomach rumbled, reminding him that he had skipped dinner last night. Well, looks like I fell asleep without eating dinner. He glanced at the noodles he had prepared but never touched. Last night's noodles? Ah, they've gone soggy. He shook his head and sighed again. Better make a new batch. Suddenly, Nikki's stomach made a soft, growling noise. Nikki, are you hungry? He asked, surprised. Hungry? Nikki blinked. Nikki only feels that my stomach is empty. Shinshir smiled. That feeling is called hunger. Would you like to eat something? Then it hit him, wait. Nikki is actually my phone, right? He paused, confused. Can a phone eat human food? But then again, she was in human form now. Maybe she has human organs too? Nikki, open your mouth and let me take a look, he said, trying to figure it out. Open my mouth? Nikki asked, unsure. She opened her mouth slightly. Like this? Shinshir leaned closer, but quickly pulled back, blushing. No, I'm shy. He cleared his throat and forced himself to focus. Okay, she has the mouth of an ordinary human. Does that mean she can eat human food? He made a quick decision. Nikki, no need to hold back. Just pick whatever you want to eat. It's my treat today. He beamed, gesturing toward the snacks on the table. Nikki's eyes sparkled as she looked around. Master, can I eat this? She asked, holding up a small steamed bun. Of course. Shinshir smiled. Likes attract likes, he thought with amusement. Nikki eagerly took a bite, but her expression changed. Master, I can't bite it. Shinshir chuckled. Nikki, you can't eat the packaging. You have to tear it open first. He unwrapped the bun for her. Here, now try it. Nikki took a bite, and her eyes lit up. "It's really good," she exclaimed, smiling brightly. "Great," Shinshir said, feeling relieved. "You can eat as much as you want." He watched as Nikki happily devoured the steamed bun, her joy reminding him of a child discovering a new favorite snack. She really does seem like a kid sometimes, he thought with a smile. If she liked that, she'd definitely enjoy the jelly he had on hand. "Here, try this next," Shinshir said, offering her a cup of jelly. But just as she reached for it, "Whoa!" Shinshir gasped as the jelly slipped from his hands. "Nikki," he called out, hoping she didn't make a mess. Shinshir sat on his bed, reflecting on the bizarre events of the past few days. The first time Nikki transformed, it happened right after I woke up, he thought, still trying to wrap his mind around it. Maybe my power refreshes every morning at 12 o'clock? Or perhaps it resets every time I wake up? He glanced at the clock. It was 10 a.m. now. Let's test it out. If I fall asleep and wake up again, maybe I can see if my power works the same way. Shinshir tried to close his eyes, but sleep wouldn't come. "I can't sleep," he sighed. "It must be because I'm not tired. That's why I can't sleep." He looked around his room for something to do. Maybe I should do something to wear myself out? He considered his options. I don't want to read books. Maybe I could check Station B? But he remembered there wasn't anything new to watch today. Should I do some exercise? He thought about it for a moment before shaking his head. Forget it. I suddenly lost interest. Finally, he resigned himself to trying again. Let's just sleep. As he settled into bed, he looked over at Nikki, who stood nearby, still as cheerful as ever. "Let my princess accompany me to sleep," he thought with a small smile. Nikki nodded, her usual bright expression making him feel at ease. But just as Shinshir was about to drift off, a sudden change startled him. "What happened?" he shouted, jolting up. Nikki groggily rubbed her eyes. "Woo, master, you're so noisy," she murmured. Shinshir stared in disbelief. What transformed this time?" His gaze fell on the blanket. This is my blanket?" His mind raced. Is it past midnight? 12 a.m. already? He quickly grabbed his phone to check. As expected, Nikki, still half asleep, looked at him with a sleepy smile. "Master, aren't you sleepy? Let's sleep together," she suggested softly. Shinshir's face turned red. "This is not good," he stammered. Nikki tilted her head in confusion. "How could it be? Just hug me while you sleep, like you normally do," she said, moving closer. I'm choking," Shinshir muttered, completely flustered as Nikki cuddled up beside him, unaware of how overwhelming the situation was for him. Shinshir sat on the edge of his bed, rubbing his temples in frustration. I had actually planned to transform Nikki again, he thought, but things had taken an unexpected turn. "My Nikki," he muttered under his breath, feeling a pang of regret. "Woo, I miscalculated." Nikki, now sitting beside him, noticed his distress. "Master, why are you crying?" she asked, her face full of concern. "It's because of you," Shinshir blurted out, unable to contain his frustration. "Now I can't transform Nikki. You've even taken up my bed." Nikki tilted her head, looking confused yet amused. "Master, you're very interesting," she said with a giggle. Shinshir blinked in confusion. "What do you mean?" "Don't think too much," he added quickly, trying to regain control of the situation. "Staying up late is bad for your health. Let's sleep together," Nikki suggested with a serene smile. Shinshir's eyes widened in alarm. "Wait, I can't sleep with you. But we always sleep together, right?" Nikki asked innocently. "No, that's not the point." Shinshir stammered, his face heating up. She's still not getting it. "Don't tell me. You think I dislike how you look now?" Nikki's expression softened. "Master, do you not like me like this?" Shinshir quickly shook his head. No. You're my blanket. Of course we can sleep together, but now you've transformed into a girl. Boys and girls aren't the same. We can't sleep together anymore. Understand?" Nikki looked puzzled. "So complicated," she murmured, and then she burst out laughing. "What's the difference?" Please talk properly," Shinshir said, panicking as Nikki playfully shook him. "You're making me dizzy." "Dizzy?" Nikki tilted her head. "Master must be sleepy." "Come and sleep," she said with a smile. Shinshir sighed. How did I end up in this situation? Again? He decided to change the subject. You don't have a name yet, do you? He asked. No. Do you want to name me, master? Nikki asked with excitement. Shinshir paused for a moment, thinking. Well, you transformed from my blanket, so let's call you Beiji. How does that sound? Nikki, or rather Beiji now, beamed with delight. Okay, whatever name master gives me. I really like it. Shinshir couldn't help but smile at her enthusiasm. But then Beiji's tone softened. I keep feeling like we're really close, master. Really? Shinshir asked, curious. Beiji nodded, leaning in. I really love master's smell. And you never hit me. Hit you? Shinshir was taken aback. Why would I hit you? Master never hits Beiji like that Annie who comes here sometimes, she said with a frown. She always beats me with her racket. Shinshir blinked in confusion before realization dawned on him. That's just her beating the dust out of the bed, he said, scratching his head awkwardly. I guess she's talking about dusting off the blankets. Beiji's eyes grew wide, and she grabbed Shinshir's hands. Master, promise me you'll never hit Beiji. Shinshir gave a small chuckle, shaking his head. Don't worry. I'll never hit you, I promise. Beiji's face lit up with joy. Master, you're the best, she exclaimed, hugging him tightly. Shinshir sighed, feeling overwhelmed. Sure enough, I wanted a more practical ability, like flying, mind reading, or teleportation. He looked up at the ceiling, feeling defeated. How am I supposed to sleep like this? Shinshir jolted awake, his heart racing. What happened to her? He blinked a few times, trying to process what he had just seen. Beiji had suddenly transformed back into a blanket right in front of his eyes. The superpower lasted too short, he thought, feeling the strain in his body. His limbs felt heavy, as if his energy had been drained. There's even an after effect. My body feels completely hollowed out. He sighed and glanced at the window. The morning light streamed in, reminding him of the new day. Oh, it's already day, he mused. His mind wandered as he thought about the strange abilities he'd gained. If the skill resets at 12 and I was in the toilet, would it? He quickly shook the thought away. No, it wouldn't, right? Shinshir pondered further. The right hand is the trigger, but it doesn't seem to have any effect on my own body. He wondered if his power had any effect on other living beings. I don't know, maybe I should try it out sometime. As his stomach growled, Shinshir decided to get some food. Time to eat. But before he could start, a loud noise came from the next-door apartment. Weird. Why is it so noisy this early in the morning? He frowned, remembering that the apartment had been vacant for a while. Has someone finally moved in? Just then, his phone buzzed with a reminder of the task his mom had given him. Oh no, I completely forgot about that. He rushed to the door and peeked outside, seeing movers unloading boxes next door. Approaching them, Shinshir politely asked, May I ask, are you the movers for this house? One of the workers looked up and nodded. Ah, yes. I'm sorry to disturb you. Shinshir quickly apologized. The mover waved him off. No worries. I didn't expect to have a new tenant next door, Shinshir thought as he heard a rustling sound nearby. Suddenly, a small, furry figure darted past him. What was that? He looked down and saw a cat standing in front of him. Oh, it's a cat, he smiled. The cat meowed softly, and Shinshir crouched down. Where did you come from? Before he could reach out to the cat, a frantic voice called out. Coffee! Why are you running around? Shinshir looked up to see a girl rushing towards him, out of breath. Big bro, I'm sorry. This is my cat, Coffee. We just moved in this morning, and it slipped away while everything was a bit messy. Shinshir stood up and waved off her apology. Oh, no worries, he said, giving her a reassuring smile. So she's the new neighbor. The girl, wearing a school uniform, looked a little flustered. Senior, I'm running late for school, and I locked the keys inside the house, she explained, her face growing more anxious. If this keeps up, I'll be late for class. Shinshir recognized her uniform. It was from the same high school he once attended. You're in second high? I remember those days. Senior, the girl interrupted, her voice pleading. Is it convenient for you to take care of Coffee for me? Please. I'm really in a rush. Shinshir hesitated for a moment, then sighed. All right. Just leave Coffee in my place. Don't worry. I'll take good care of him. The girl's eyes lit up with relief. "Thank you so much, Senior," she said gratefully. "I'll be back as soon as I can." As she hurried off to school, Shinshir glanced down at the cat, who stared back at him with wide, curious eyes. "Well, Coffee," he muttered, "it would be great if you were a cat girl." The cat tilted its head and meowed, as if understanding his wish. Shinshir chuckled to himself, shaking his head. "What am I even thinking? Meow." Shinshir paced around his room, his excitement building. "I'm finally a guy with a cat." He grinned as he watched Coffee, the small feline, now comfortably exploring the corners of his apartment. The day finally came. "Here, Coffee, play with this," he said, tossing a toy mouse across the floor. The cat pounced, batting at it with eager paws. "Meow." Coffee responded playfully. Shinshir chuckled and then reached for the cat's food. "All right, here's your dinner," he said, placing a bowl down. Coffee immediately dove in, devouring the meal. "Wow, looks like you were really hungry," he murmured, watching the cat with adoration. "So cute. Why is there such a cute animal in the world?" He wondered, enchanted by the simple act of Coffee licking its paw. "It's so addicting to watch." But then, Coffee stopped, stood up, and started pacing in circles. Shinshir froze. "What's it doing?" His eyes widened as he realized, could it be it needs to use the toilet? "Meow." The cat meowed urgently. "You." Shinshir jumped into action. "Just wait there. I'll bring it out." He quickly found the litter box and guided Coffee toward it. His relief was short-lived, though, as the cat did its business, filling the room with a potent odor. "My God!" Shinshir groaned, pinching his nose. Such a cute kitty cat, but it can defecate something this smelly? Once the mess was cleaned up, Shinshir flopped down on his bed, exhausted. So tiring. Having a pet is not easy. His mind wandered to his powers. Yikong and Beiji. They were inanimate objects that I transformed. But what if I used my powers on a living being like Coffee? A mischievous smile spread across his face. Cat girl? His imagination ran wild. The best would be one in a maid uniform. It would be great if it were real. Shinshir set his alarm for 11:59 p.m., determined to test his theory. "You can't just wait a little while. I'll turn you back tonight," he whispered, feeling anticipation rise. The night crept closer. As the clock ticked toward midnight, Shinshir grew restless. "It's almost 12, and that girl still hasn't come back to pick up Coffee." He glanced at the cat, who seemed content lounging on the couch. "Could it be that your owner forgot you were here?" Suddenly, the alarm buzzed. "It's time." Shinshir's heart pounded. "Come out, Yikong," he whispered, activating his power. But then, something unexpected happened. A bright light enveloped Coffee, and as it faded, standing where the cat once was a cat girl. "Oh no!" Shinshir's mind raced. This is a flag raised. Before he could react, a familiar voice called out, "Thank you, big brother, for accepting me and Coffee." Shinshir turned, stunned. The girl was there, with Coffee, now a cat girl, standing beside her, complete with a tail swaying behind her. A cat girl really came? No problem," Shinshir stammered, trying to comprehend what just happened. The cat girl blinked, then turned around, looking over her shoulder. "Wow, it even has a tail," she said, admiring herself. "Is Big Brother looking at my tail?" she asked innocently, noticing Shinshir's wide-eyed stare. "Stop!" Shinshir yelled, panicking. "If this continues, our Manhwa production team will be sent to the police station." Shinshir sighed, feeling a mixture of responsibility and confusion as he looked at Mimi, the cat-turned girl standing before him. "You're a girl now, Mimi. You can't be this carefree, understood?" he said, trying to sound firm. Mimi's large, innocent eyes blinked at him. "Woo. Okay, well, I understand," she replied in her usual cheerful tone. "That's a good child," Shinshir thought, though he was still trying to wrap his head around the situation. "Say, what's your name?" Mimi tilted her head. "Master likes to call me Mimi," she chirped. "Master?" Shinshir repeated. She meant the girl next door? He realized, my skill of turning objects into human form still retains the soul of the object. This? Hesitating for a moment, he looked at her soft, fluffy ears twitching. "Mimi, can I touch your ears?" His voice came out more awkward than he intended. Mimi's eyes brightened. Of course. Mimi likes to be patted. Please pat me, meow. She responded eagerly, almost jumping with excitement. Okay. Shinshir gently reached out, giving her ears a soft pat. The sensation was strangely calming. So comfortable, Mimi purred, closing her eyes in contentment. Touch a beast-eared girl get, Shinshir thought, his mind racing with excitement and confusion. Suddenly, Mimi's tail swished. And no, you can't touch my tail, she exclaimed, quickly turning away and shielding it. Sorry. Shinshir stammered, feeling a bit embarrassed. He tried to change the subject. Mimi, are you hungry? Do you want me to make you something to eat? And Mimi nodded, recovering from the awkwardness as quickly as ever, her tail swishing playfully behind her. Shinshir brought over some food and handed it to her. Come, have this, he said, hoping this would make things a little more normal. Mimi sniffed the food cautiously before nibbling at it. Relax, it's edible, Shinshir added, noticing her hesitation. Mimi took a bite and then smiled, her eyes lighting up with delight. And she nodded, clearly enjoying it. How did things end up like this? Shinshir wondered, watching her eat. He then remembered. Mimi, you're a girl now, so you should eat like a human, understood? He showed her how to hold the food properly. Hold it like this, then take a bite. Understand? Mimi nodded again, but as she tried to follow his instructions, she fumbled and scratched her finger. Woo, are you all right? Shinshir asked, concerned. Ouchie. Mimi winced, but quickly brushed it off. It's all right, it's only a scratch. Without thinking, Shinshir gently took her hand. Pain. Go away, he said softly, blowing on the scratch as if comforting a child. Mimi smiled up at him, her eyes gleaming with affection. Master is the best, she purred again, making Shinshir realize just how much his life had changed, and how much more bizarre it was likely to get. Sorry, Shinshir exclaimed as he rushed over to help Mimi, who had just tumbled over a stack of books he'd left lying around. Done, you'll be all right now, he said, adjusting her hair and checking for any injuries. Thank you, big brother. Mimi beamed up at him, her cat ears perking up with joy. But Shinshir quickly shook his head. Cats are nocturnal animals, but this is too energetic. He could hardly keep up with her boundless enthusiasm. Stop, he yelled, watching as she darted around his small apartment, knocking over more items in her wake. You're making a mess in my house. Are you trying to demolish it? He couldn't help but feel overwhelmed. Previously, cats were cute and cuddly, but now that one had transformed into a lively girl, he found himself questioning his sanity. Mimi, as a talking cat, would you like to explain yourself? Meow meow, she replied, tilting her head in an adorable, yet frustratingly oblivious manner. Your cuteness wouldn't work on me. Speak human language, he retorted, trying to keep his irritation in check. Big brother, don't be mad, Naya. Mimi pleaded, her tone softening. Coffee didn't do it on purpose. I apologize on his behalf. Don't push your responsibility onto the other cat. Shinshir countered, crossing his arms. Hey, both of you weren't on the act. Oh no. When did it escape? He exclaimed suddenly, panic setting in. That's my to-be little sis. Mimi shouted, pointing towards the open window. Good coffee. That's brother's lifeline. Please don't move. Shinshir rushed toward the window just as he spotted Coffee, the mischievous little cat, making a dash for freedom. In! Shinshir shouted, his heart racing as he tried to catch the escaping feline. Prompt. Congrats to male lead. Revenge of the kitty. Achieved, he thought wryly, finally managing to grab hold of Coffee and pull him back into the apartment. It's safe. It's Master. Master is back, Naya. Mimi chirped, waving enthusiastically at him. Shinshir sighed, relieved but slightly bewildered. So late, how? Why is she back so late? He pondered, trying to make sense of the chaos that had unfolded. Let's see. Mimi, you're currently in your human form. How would your master recognize you? He asked, his brow furrowing in thought. I want to come too. Mimi's eyes sparkled with excitement. And understood, Naya, she said, bouncing on her toes. If I were to tell the girl next door that her doll turned into a girl, she must think I'm crazy. Shinshir muttered to himself, the reality of the situation hitting him hard. He ran a hand through his hair, trying to find a way to navigate the bizarre, new world he had stumbled into. All right, let's get this sorted out, he said, looking at Mimi with determination. We need to figure out how to keep you under control. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows in the room, Shinshir knew that this was just the beginning of their wild adventures together. How are you? Are you feeling unwell? Shinshir asked, noticing Mimi's unusually subdued demeanor. No, just a little tired, she replied, rubbing her eyes as she slumped against the wall. Weren't you supposed to go to school today? Why are you back so late? He pressed, concern etching his brow. My best friend was under the weather, so I was with her the whole day, she said, avoiding his gaze. That wouldn't make you this late, Shinshir argued, crossing his arms. TCH, Dad? Why are you so naggy just like my dad? So troublesome, she muttered, clearly irritated. No, it's dangerous for a girl like you to be out this late at night. Understand? Shinshir insisted, his tone serious. Understood. Senior, you can return coffee back to me now. Mimi chirped, her energy seemingly returning as she perked up. Meow coffee, she called, her excitement evident. Coffee, were you good today? She asked, bending down to pick up the little cat, who mewed in response. Thank you, Senior, for taking care of Coffee. I will take him back now, she said, smiling brightly at Shinshir. Ah, wait, Senior, is there anything? He stammered, suddenly realizing he might have missed something. And that, did Coffee destroy something? He asked hesitantly. No. Coffee may be lively, but he didn't break anything. Mimi assured him, her relief palpable. That's great, Shinshir sighed, relaxing a little. Even if it did break something, I don't have the money to repay you, he added, his thoughts racing. Do you remember that cat toy you gave together with the cat feed? The hand toy, he continued. Do you mean the little cat doll? Mimi replied, her face lighting up at the memory. It's all right, it's just a toy. If it breaks, just throw it away. Shinshir dismissed the concern, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Right, that doll, something happened to it, he admitted, a knot tightening in his stomach. Also, Coffee grew tired of it already. Sister will buy you a new one, she promised, waving her hand dismissively. No, it's late. I'll go back now. I have school tomorrow, bye. She called over her shoulder as she started to leave. As she stepped outside, Shinshir couldn't help but worry. When the powers were off tomorrow, I'll explain it to her. Mimi, he called suddenly, spotting her looking faint. Mimi, are you all right? He asked, rushing over. Big bro, I feel as if I've lost my energy, she confessed, her voice barely a whisper. How's that possible? He asked, bewildered. Mimi, thank you, big bro, she said, her gratitude shining through her fatigue. Mimi, he muttered, concern flooding his thoughts. Why did this happen? Could it be, he wondered, that if an item brought to life by the divine skill was no longer wanted by its owner, it would disappear from this world? The thought sent a chill down his spine. He glanced at Mimi, whose eyes were beginning to droop. I can't let that happen. Shinshir knew he had to find a way to keep her energy up to ensure she stayed with him, and to uncover the mystery of her transformation. The memories of yesterday played in Shir's mind like a fleeting dream, elusive yet vivid. As he stirred awake, a sense of emptiness settled in his chest. But seeing that Coffee and Mimi are not in the room makes it all too clear. What happened last night was real. Determination surged within him. I'll bring back Yikong tonight. But an unsettling thought nagged at him. It's just, I wouldn't be able to see Mimi tomorrow. He shook his head, trying to dispel the gloom. There's no point in thinking about this. I'll set an alarm tonight. Come out, Yikong, he called, a mix of excitement and apprehension in his voice. Master, I missed you, Yikong exclaimed, her voice bright and cheerful as she materialized. I thought that Master had forgotten about Yikong, she added, her enthusiasm palpable. How could I have forgotten about you? Shinshir replied, a smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. It's just that... Why? Could you please get off me first for now? He asked, feeling the weight of her presence pressing down on him. Is Master comfortable? She asked innocently, tilting her head as if genuinely concerned. Quickly get up. My lower abdomen is being crushed by you. Shinshur insisted, struggling to push her off. Comfort at last, Yikong chirped, finally standing up, a satisfied grin on her face. Master, do you need Yikong to help you? She asked, still hovering nearby. No need. Quickly get out. I'll be done soon, he shot back, focusing on his task. Okay, she responded cheerfully, bounding away. Shinshur shook his head, exasperated. Yikong is too rough. Simply barging into the men's bathroom. Master, are you done? She called from outside. And done? He took a moment to gather his thoughts. Master, don't feel bad about Mimi. Yikong, you knew about it? Shinshur asked, surprised. When Yikong is in phone form, you're still aware of your surroundings? Thank you, Yikong. Rest assured, I'll never abandon you, he said earnestly, his heart swelling with affection. And I believe, Master, she replied, her tone earnest and warm. However, calling me Master is weird. It would cause misunderstandings outside, he warned, feeling the weight of the implications. Outside? Yikong echoed, puzzled. Right? Because I want to go on a date with Yikong, Shinshur stated, feeling a surge of excitement. Of course, it's during the day. Master, what's a date? Is it edible? Yikong asked innocently. A date is when two lovers go out to play, he explained, try to keep a straight face. When we're on the date, you must hold on to my hand so I don't lose you. Baby, Yikong understands. Yikong will go on a date with Master, she squealed, her enthusiasm infectious. I've said not to call me Master. Call me brother. Shinshur corrected her, shaking his head with a smile. All right, brother. Yikong chirped happily. All being called brother is music to my ears, Shinshur replied, laughter bubbling up inside him. With a newfound sense of joy and anticipation, he stepped out, ready to face whatever adventures awaited them. Yikong, Yikong, Shinshur shouted with excitement, his heart racing. Today finally came. My first date with a cute girl has finally arrived. I didn't expect to have a day like this. Brother, what's that? Yikong asked, her curious eyes sparkling. Ah! Shinshur turned to look, his expression shifting as a waft of unpleasant odor hit his nostrils. Sorry to those who love stinky tofu, but I feel like vomiting. Why in the world are there these stinky tofus around? Yikong, are you hungry? I don't like this, he remarked, trying to shake off the unpleasantness. Like at this stall, you have to wait. It is going to take long. How about we have parda instead, he suggested, hoping to divert their attention. In. Whatever brother eats, I will also have it. Yikong is so understanding, she chimed, her enthusiasm infectious. Boss, 2 portions of parda, add egg, ham, and meat floss. Shinshur called out, excitement bubbling over as he placed their order. Okay, please wait a while, the vendor replied cheerfully. Wow, here, careful, it's still hot. Shinshur warned, placing a steaming plate in front of Yikong. Brother, this is delicious, she exclaimed, her eyes wide with delight as she took a big bite. 2 wonderful couples. I'm sorry to interrupt, a stranger interjected, catching their attention. Would you mind browsing? The stranger continued, eyeing them with a glint of curiosity. Wow, so pretty, Yikong exclaimed, entranced by the shiny trinkets on display. So girls are still weak against shiny objects. Shinshur chuckled to himself as he observed her fascination. May I ask how much for this ring? He inquired, pointing at a sparkling piece of jewelry. Little brother has a good eye. This ring has good workmanship. Look at these fine details. Original price is $250, but there's a discount today. Only $150. Little brother's girlfriend looks like she likes it, so why not try it on? The vendor replied, flashing a toothy grin. Shinshur hesitated, a thought crossing his mind. However, saying that Yikong is my girlfriend, and brother, do you think it is nice? Yikong asked, holding the ring up to the light. Not bad, but you put it on the wrong finger. You put the ring on the ring finger after you're married. Shinshur corrected her, suddenly feeling a rush of warmth at the thought. Am married? Me and Yikong, she stuttered, her cheeks turning a shade of pink. Boss, I'll buy it, he declared impulsively, caught up in the moment. I wouldn't hold the both of you. Thank you for your purchase, the vendor replied, handing over the ring with a smile. Run! The urban management is here, someone shouted from the crowd. The urban management is here, others echoed, panic rising in the air. That? Brother, I think she didn't give you the change, Yikong pointed out, her expression a mix of confusion and concern. Ugh! She ran so fast. I couldn't catch up. I've already lost her, Shinshir groaned, feeling frustrated and defeated. The stolen money is on me, he thought, glancing down at the ring in his hand. Sick. Got the ring. However, where's this place? This place is... He mused, the excitement of the day beginning to wane as reality settled in. Master, where's this place? Yikong asked, her wide eyes darting around. Oh, Yikong, this is not a place to play at. Let's quickly leave, Shinshir replied, glancing around nervously. Isn't that the beautiful lady that I saw at Brother's place? Yikong tilted her head, pointing toward a familiar figure. Beautiful lady at my place? Shinshir echoed, squinting to get a better look. Isn't that my mom and dad? Oh no, he exclaimed, his heart racing with panic. If they find out that I brought a girl out, even if I jumped into the Yangtze River, I wouldn't be able to come clean. That was dangerous. Why are mom and dad wandering about the street? Plus, in a place like this, Shinshir muttered to himself, fear gripping him. If I go out now, I might bump into them. I'll hide here first, he decided, glancing around for a suitable spot. Yikong looked around, her curiosity piqued. May I ask, are there couples' rooms? Shinshir inquired, trying to remain inconspicuous. They look normal, but they are this dirty, he noted, eyeing the establishment with growing unease. I'm sorry. There's only the large room left, the receptionist replied cheerfully. Oh then, I'll take that one, Shinshir said reluctantly, handing over his ID. Please rest well, the receptionist chirped, taking the ID with a smile. Thank you, he stammered, feeling the weight of the situation settle heavily on his shoulders. Why does it feel weird? Yikong asked, glancing around the room with a puzzled expression. Brother, where's this place? Why did we come here? She pressed on. Why didn't we greet the beautiful sister just now? She added innocently. Mayako Iso came out on a date. Disturbing them would be troublesome. Aren't you also tired? Why don't we take a rest first? He replied, trying to divert the conversation. Oh. Yikong understands, she nodded enthusiastically. Beep. What's up with this hotel room? How did it turn out like this? Shinshir exclaimed, bewildered as they stepped inside. Wow, it's beautiful here. Brother, come on in, Yikong declared, her face lighting up with excitement. Okay, Shinshir mumbled, feeling increasingly uncomfortable. So comfortable, she sighed contentedly, sinking into the plush cushions. This room, I feel like puking. I feel like I came to the wrong place, he thought, sweat beading on his forehead. Brother, why are you sweating so much? Your face is red too. Are you not? Yikong observed, concern lacing her tone. I suddenly feel a little stuffy. I'll turn on the air conditioning, he said, desperate to alleviate the tension. So cooling, brother. Do you want to take a shower first? You're sweating bullets, she suggested innocently. Shower? Shinshir echoed, his mind racing. Why is it so revealing? He thought as he caught a glimpse of the bathroom, dread creeping up his spine. This kind of shower. How can I shower in it? Shinshir pondered, staring at the intricate setup before him, feeling utterly lost. Is that so? The shower kit at the hotel is not that great. I'll shower when I get home, Yikong replied, her tone casual. Brother is usually not someone this particular, she observed, noticing his discomfort. Usually, he repeated, confusion clouding his thoughts. Wait, Yikong was my phone, and she knows my every move. Could it be? He thought, his mind racing back to all the moments they had shared. That time. Also then, could it be that I don't have a single secret in front of her? Don't worry. Yikong wouldn't tell anyone, she reassured him, her eyes sparkling with innocence. And Yikong is the best, he admitted, relieved that she seemed to understand his unease. There's something that I really want to say to brother, she began, her expression turning serious. What is it? He asked, curiosity piqued. Actually, I wish to be only with brother, she confessed, her voice soft but resolute. Huh? Exclusive, he stammered, caught off guard. And like this, alone with brother. This way, I don't have to fight with Bei Ji and the others for you, she explained, her eyes earnest. Could it be? Shinshir's mind raced as her words sank in. Brother, could you give me a kiss? She asked suddenly, her innocence shining through. What are you saying? Kiss you? He sputtered, taken aback by her boldness. Yikong replied, unfazed by his reaction. Oh, time is up, Shinshir thought, his heart racing. Brother, I love you, she declared, leaving him stunned. I was confessed to? He thought, trying to process her words. Check out, the receptionist called, interrupting his thoughts. Huh? The girl that was with you disappeared, the receptionist continued, noticing Shunshir's bewilderment. Ugh, if I told you her transformation time is up, would you believe me? He replied, half joking. The receptionist looked at him, bemused. I'm just joking. She's already left, he added, shaking his head in disbelief. That can't be. I've always been here. Why didn't I see anyone leave? He murmured, still trying to grasp the events of the day. Brother, how many games have you won? Yikong teased, trying to lighten the mood. Cough, he choked out a mix of laughter and frustration. Please come again, the receptionist said cheerfully as they exited. Next time, I'll definitely not come to a place like this. Shinshir vowed, a smile creeping onto his face despite the chaos of the day.